Hi everyone. Welcome. Sorry, I'm changing my camera. Welcome to Laravel Cloud Office Hours. We should be live. So
I
yeah,
see
hi
us.
everyone. Okay, we're good then. I'm back to StreamYard. For this stream, I was using Riverside Wednesday, which we might kind of go back and forth, but back to StreamYard. Happy Friday, everyone. Feel free to share where you're checking in from in chat as people are getting in. Um, We're going to be doing Laravel Cloud Office Hours today. I'll wait a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes for people to get in though. While we do, how are you doing, Devon?
I'm doing well. It's been 2 weeks since LaraCon EU. I think I
Yeah,
finally recovered my sleep schedule, so that's nice.
I've messed mine back up because I was just telling Devon. So I live in Colorado. I'm in Florida right now. It's not a huge time difference, but it's like a different time zone. So I went from EU Amsterdam, which was like eight hours, I think, ahead of where I live.
Mhm.
And then I went back home and I was there for like a week or so and kind of readjusted. And now I'm in Florida, a different time zone. Then I'll be going back home next week. And then like a week or two from that, I'll be going to San Diego in California. So my poor sleep schedule is never going to know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. What even is sleep at that point? Yeah,
So,
I'm glad. My next travel is just down. I'm going to Georgia next week for the Atlanta meetup. So
mhm. Oh, yeah.
same
Same
time
time
zone.
zone. You're great.
Door to door flight is like 2.5 hours too, direct. Can't wait. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah. I think that's how my San Diego one is. It's like 2.5.
Mm,
Um, it's pretty short from Colorado, which I guess makes sense.
hmm.
But those
Yeah,
are always nice.
yeah. Although those short flights, sometimes you end up on like a twin prop airplane that has to burn off fuel to manage weight on the runway, and you're like, "Do I really trust this?"
I've never had that happen, and now
You've
I'm
never?
worried that you might jinx me now.
No, I
No.
don't. I don't think from Denver to San Diego you're going to have that, but from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Connecticut, that happened to me
Oh, yeah.
twice.
That
Little
makes
puddle
sense.
jumper, and I was like, "This is crazy." Yeah, I got on a flight one time from I think it was Pittsburgh to
Mhm.
Connecticut, or the other way. It might have been Connecticut to Pittsburgh. I had to walk out on the tarmac, like not through a jet bridge, out on the tarmac, up a ramp into the plane, like instead of a regular jet bridge. And then they literally they got on the runway and they're like, "All right, we need to rearrange for weight distribution." And I was like, "What did I sign up for?"
Something I've seen recently, I think this is out of Chicago, so like the O'Hare airport is like some of the flights, I think it's for American Airlines. It's like, okay, here's your flight. You go to like get on your flight. It's a bus. It's an
Hmm.
American Airlines bus, which I can't say I would like that. That would
That's
throw me
interesting.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hi everyone. We've waited a few minutes, so let's go ahead and get into it. As people are like joining chat and joining us, make sure to say where you're joining from. And happy Friday, everyone. So today we are here to do Laravel Cloud Office Hours, or just for you to hang out with us. But we'll be answering some questions about cloud. Any questions you guys might have, we can briefly talk about some things that launched this week too, because as always, it's an exciting week here at Laravel. Yeah, Devon's got an excellent t-shirt. We have a pizza shirt today.
It's pizza and basketball capital of the world, UConn.
Oh, okay. That is that t-shirt. I feel like we had a
Yep.
like spirited Slack discussion about that t-shirt.
I love this shirt. Shout out Dave Hicking for getting me this T-shirt. So
Yeah, what's up, Dave? Happy Friday. But yeah. Um, so let's just jump into some quick intros, I guess. My name is Leah Thompson. I'm a DevRel engineer at Laravel. I work closely with our online communities and hosting live streams like this one today. And I'm here with Devon Garbalosa today, who's been doing the Cloud Office Hours with me. But if this is the first one you're catching, then this is Devon. Devon, you want to do a quick little intro?
yeah, absolutely. Devon Garbalosa, solutions engineer at Laravel. I work with customers who are looking to migrate onto Laravel Cloud. Uh, a lot of times, mostly Laravel Private Cloud. And when they have bespoke requirements and different setups and things, I help troubleshoot how that can work on cloud and where we can kind of move their apps forward so they can stop doing DevOps headaches.
We love that. We love stopping DevOps headaches.
The best.
But
Yeah. Give us your DevOps headaches.
yeah. Yeah. Please give them to us, especially because I'm not on the cloud team. So you're not even giving them to me. I'm so good.
Look
But
at
yeah,
that.
so if you don't even know what Laravel Cloud is, then this is the right place to be too. Laravel Cloud is a fully managed place to host your Laravel applications. And if you have any questions about cloud or any specifics, this is the place to drop those questions. We do have a Slido that is linked in our YouTube description and I think description for all the streams, but I will also share it. I'm going to share the admin link for Slido and not the guest one. This should be it. This should be it. So if you join or if you go to the Slido, you can drop questions in there. You can also just drop them in live chat. And yeah. So the purpose of office hours is just for you to ask any questions about cloud. If you have specific migration issues or migration questions, you can ask them here. If you have questions about different things on cloud, like preview environments, we released new stuff on cloud this week. I think it was GitHub SSO logins, and we also changed the seats for cloud. But with the seats, all we changed is that you have unlimited seats now, right?
We just got rid of seats, basically. Yeah. Yep. So no more extra
seats.
for seats. Yep.
Yep.
The other
Unlimited
big
seats for
thing.
you and your agents.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
Hi, Florian.
Hey, Flo.
Happy
I was going to say another
Friday.
big one this week. Laravel 13 dropped.
I know. Yeah, I was trying to hit the cloud ones, but Laravel 13 dropped, which is a huge, obviously huge launch for Laravel. So very exciting. And then I know Pushback worked on the boost prompt, the boost update for updating from Laravel 12 to Laravel 13. So I know a lot of people were talking about using that, like on Twitter, and I think even in the Inertia stream on time is so fake. It was on Wednesday. People were saying they used that and it worked beautifully. So that was a big thing this week. We also had Forge managed databases that launched this week. What else? I feel like I'm missing stuff.
Yeah. Stuff launches like every day around here. It's awesome.
I know.
Going on. I know Inertia V3 comes out next week, I believe. So that's in beta right now. That's pretty fun. I actually just upgraded a project for an internal tool to Laravel 13 and Inertia V3 beta, and works great.
Welcome in, GoPal Web Dev. How are you? Happy Friday. It is so hard to keep up, Florian. Pascal was saying too, Devon, that there is like when you were upgrading, you said you upgraded to Inertia V3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you use the boost command for that? Did you use boost upgrade?
I did. Forcibly. I didn't mean to. And then it was like, and I also upgraded you to V3. And I was like, thanks.
Let's go then. Another big thing.
How'd you know I like to live on the bleeding edge? I love this.
Well, our website, the Laravel homepage, is now React and Inertia, but it's Inertia V3 already.
Yes.
Chip ported that over. It was fully ported over, I think, as of Tuesday, well, technically Wednesday at 4 a.m.
Nice.
4 a.m. ET. Yeah. So we're on V3.
I love Chip.
Yeah, he's great. He was cooking on that. But yeah, so much exciting stuff. Let me see. I don't know if there's any questions in I almost said in cloud, in Slido. If anyone has cloud questions in chat, feel free to drop them below. Or honestly, any general questions too. You got us for the hour. So you have questions about Laravel or anything, feel free to throw them at us.
Ask away. And we will, if we don't know, we'll just tell Florian to figure it out. So
yeah.
Works great.
We have a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I may not know everything, but I know where to find it.
We are streaming now, not only on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter, but we also have a Twitch account now. As of yesterday, we have a lovely Twitch account, twitch.tv/LaravelPHP.
Nice.
Brand spanking new Twitch account. I was so excited about the Twitch account. Hi, Roxy. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Which Roxy will be starting a new job soon.
Ooh, congrats.
Has not announced, but yeah, everyone in chat, please say congrats to Roxy, who signed an offer. So we'll be starting a new job coming up. First job in tech, was able to quit working in education.
Sounds like a familiar story.
I know, just like me. Oh man, that was so exciting once I was able to start my first job in tech. But like, it's like back in my day, because that was like 4 years ago this year, which feels wild.
Wow. It's graduated high school.
What? Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
I'm so glad that joke went over your head.
I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. Hi, Najib Dev. Welcome in. How are you doing? I don't know what that question is.
See a question from D Hicking up there. Take a stab at that one real quick.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Why should somebody be excited about Inertia v3?
Because Inertia v3 is awesome. Point blank. Now, to be more serious, a lot of niceties coming to Inertia v3. So one thing is, if you use Inertia today, you have two separate entry points for server-side rendering versus client-side rendering. And so for a lot of people, they either remove that server-side rendering, never added in the first place, or run into a lot of different problems trying to get server-side rendering to work. And so especially pre-cloud days, getting server-side rendering to work meant you had to make sure Node was installed on the servers and things and whatnot. With cloud now, it's just a click of a button. We can show that here in a moment. But what Inertia v3 has done is it's collapsed that into a single entry point. So your app.tsx file, if you're using React, which is my main front-end language, so I make a lot of React references. You enter through that one place, and it will figure out how to use that, and it will gracefully fall back from SSR if it fails. And so you have one runner for it. The plugin does a lot of the stuff for the build pack for you natively, and so it really just makes SSR kind of native by default, which is really great. And I've been throwing out acronyms like crazy here. So why SSR? Why server-side rendering? Well, the main reason that people like to use server-side rendering is SEO. You want your website to be recognized. Client-side SPAs are really bad at giving the metadata about themselves. So server-side rendering allows you to improve that because it sends back full HTML from the server to the front end and then allows that to hydrate and then repopulate. So that is another great reason to use that. So that's one major reason. I know I just talked a lot there. Leah, anything on that piece you want to interject with? Since you did the marketing stuff, you understand SEO way better than me, internal tool guy.
I think before there wasn't really a way to do local SSR either, right? To like test it, and now there is.
There was an artisan command on the Laravel one that you could run to do SSR, but if something broke, it just crashed, and then you'd have to go fix it and then restart it. And then, so yeah, now it's a little more graceful.
And I think, I know, because I just did a stream on Wednesday with Pascal on Inertia 2. So anyone who's interested in learning more about Inertia v3, I would say go look at that. Go look at that video. One second, I'm trying to find the recording from the live stream because I did it with Pascal, who worked on Inertia v3, and he did like a deep dive of all, not even all, because there's so many new things like baked into v3, but he focused on like the heavy hitters of Inertia v3, and he did like a solid 50 minutes of demos on that. So it was like a deep dive into them, but it's also a way to like return errors, like better error handling of knowing if something's wrong with your like SSR server.
Yep.
So like knowing if that crashes. I know for me, a big thing, which here is that link for the YouTube video to go watch the recording from the live stream with Pascal that I did on Wednesday of this week. A big thing for V3 is optimistic updates. That's something I'm very excited about, and I think other people are excited about because for me, being able to get like the instant response, like at least on the front side, it's not you're not actually getting a response from the server, but it looks like you get an instant response because you can click a like button and it would instantly update to show that because it's optimistically updating as if that request to the server is going to be accepted and nothing's going to go wrong. And so it feels really snappy. I'm someone where like if I clicked a button and it didn't update right away, then I'd probably spam it. And then by the time it does update and goes through the server, then it's like changing again. And then I'm getting mad at it. And having optimistic updates is just really nice. It also has like instant rollback for if it fails and you don't have to do anything there. It's already set up. There's also the HTTP
I was going to get into that
request.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that like people are really excited about too. And to me, I really like it because we have use HTTP hook now, which the syntax for that is like the use form helper that we have in Inertia. So it feels like, or it doesn't even feel like it is the same syntax. So you're not having to switch to like Axios, which if you want a standalone HTTP request, you would have to write that in Axios before. Now,
or fetch. But Axios makes it way easier. And Axios is a big file to include in your build. So takes that sims down a ton.
Yeah, now we no longer have that.
Yeah. I think another side effect of that too is if you're using Inertia for most of your app, but then you have some API endpoints where you want to have some reactivity on the page and you didn't want to lean on Inertia to do it. And you were going to make that HTTP call like an SPA would, you would have to insert Sanctum in there, and then you use the SPA auth flow to validate the CSRF token. And so a lot of times you'd create like a Bootstrap JS file, you'd set up Axios globally to always have that, so you have the XSRF token built in for the authentication to pass through Sanctum. The use HTTP hook has that already built into it. So you don't have to introduce that Bootstrap and Axios and all of that. You just use the use HTTP and it's securely making those requests knowing who the user is. So that was another big win for me because that was always my first thing. A brand new app, Laravel Nude, got it open. Then I'm like, all right, how do I make these API calls work? And every single time I'd have to go back to the docs because I'd never remember. Because you set it up once and then it works, right? And so it was like, how do I set this up again? Oh yeah, there it is. Perfect. So that was a big win too on that one. I shared my screen if you want to pull it up. I was going to show how you could set SSR in Laravel Cloud.
Thank you. I didn't even notice it. My bad.
Look at that. So if you are using server-side rendering, you can come down with Inertia specifically. You can come down here, and the way that you enable it is you just check that box right there. The only other thing that you would have to update, just so that we're sure of what's happening there, is in your build, you need to make sure you are building your SSR assets. That's important as well. So you got to make sure you're doing that. But that's it. That's as easy as it is.
Sorry, I'm trying to change different layouts. Like, you're talking, I'm like clicking all these windows. Yeah, you just click the top.
Yep. So now that Leah's not being a distraction, in your deployment settings, make sure you're building your SSR assets as well as your regular assets. And then just use SSR built in right there.
You're like trying to talk, all of a sudden I move it, you're off the screen. I was like, the window sharing look different than it normally does, so I was trying to change the different layouts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We called this out earlier, but it's actually only 9 a.m. for Leah in her brain, even though it's 11 a.m. where she actually is. So we'll give her a pass.
I also got 3 hours of sleep, so my brain
nice.
It's trying its hardest. Because whenever it's like 11 o'clock here, it feels like it's 9 o'clock because at home it is. So then I'm not tired. So then I go to sleep at like 5 a.m. here or 3 a.m. because I already stay up too late at home most of the time.
So what you're saying is when you're in this time zone, you're an optimistic update to your life.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah. I actually, going back to Inertia V3, optimistic updates are amazing. So essentially, if you know where you're going to go and say you're on an index page of data and you're going to go to the show page for that, you can click a button or set in your code to optimistically render that page ahead of time. with the data passed to it. So it'll fill that in, and then only the skeletons of what you got to recall go. And so the instant click comes in. And as Joe Tannenbaum said in his talks that I've listened to, this is a sharp, sharp knife, and be careful with it. And this is not the answer for everything. He's going to hate me. I vehemently disagree, and I'm going to use it everywhere religiously and cause problems for everyone. So
What,
it is one of the
optimistic
coolest
updates?
things. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Optimistic routing is going to be everywhere. Sorry, not sorry. That's an amazing feature.
I know one that they said like not to like to be careful with and proceed with caution is like the instant visits. Because some
Oh, that's what I meant is the instant visits. You're
yeah,
right, not the optimistic
yeah.
updates.
Because I was
Yes.
like I was thinking about that. Pascal said instant visits actually got like people were way more excited about it than they like thought too.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So I said the wrong thing. The instant
Hmm.
visits, not the optimistic updates, is where you could basically say, hey, I am going to load this component, and here are the props that I already have from this component to that component. So before you send the HTTP request to the back end to load the next page, render on the front end, pass the data, and then you can have your skeletons load for the other props that aren't part of that you already have, and then load it. And yeah, it's a sharp, sharp knife that I'm going to cut everything with. I am so excited.
I imagine like the cat emoji of holding the knife.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. That will be me with that. I love that.
you're right, Roxy. We should just always win. It's like good night and good morning at all times. And then we have a great cloud question here. What types of applications is Laravel Cloud best suited for?
Laravel and Symphony right now. Um,
Hmm.
that's the
Right
trope I'm going
now.
to give, but I can dive into that a little more. Um, we have a lot of different applications on Laravel Cloud
Hmm.
that do a lot of different things. We see a lot of e-commerce websites doing exceptionally well, especially applications that have kind of cyclical life cycles. So your Monday through Friday apps, you get heavy traffic during business hours, but overnight kind of goes. Using the hibernation and some of the auto scaling helps those to save a ton of money because you can meet the needs on the on hours, and on the off hours, kind of let it rest a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, so ecom's a big one that we see. We see a lot of stuff for like chat applications and things that run pretty well, especially with the way that the auto scaling can do that. Um, the
Marketing sites. I mean,
marketing
marketing
sites
sites
there.
do great on
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
Especially one really cool thing for cloud. This isn't on all plans, but we offer preview environments. And
Yep.
for marketing sites, especially if you're working with like an agency to create some marketing sites for your company, having those preview environments that will spin up as soon as a like PR is open across for Laravel, it's like when a PR is opened up against the dev branch in or like dev or the main branch in our marketing sites, it will trigger a preview environment to be spun up. So then it will respond in the GitHub PR thread with a comment that has the link to then go, like you click the link, it spins up a URL. You can see how that, like how the PR will look, right, on the
Yep.
site as if it was live. So you're just like seeing it in this preview environment, which is really helpful for when you're working across teams or, like I said, with an agency. You don't have to like dive into the code necessarily to see how it's going to look or like spin it up locally on your computer. You can just go to that link for the preview environment.
Yeah. Those preview environments are literally once you figure out how to make your dev cycle work with preview environments, you will never go
Hmm.
back. They are so good all over the place.
I don't know
But
how we lived without them.
yeah, well, dev servers, staging servers, paying
Yeah.
DevOps people. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I remember how we lived without them. I help people every day get on cloud to not use it anymore. So
I mean, we
it's
did it,
crazy.
but yeah, man, they're
Yeah,
beautiful. They're really
yeah.
helpful. So,
Najib, to really answer your question, the types of applications that Laravel Cloud is best suited for is, as cheesy as it sounds, Laravel applications. It's designed for basically anything that the framework has out of the box, plus all of the ecosystem, to work really well. So if you're running something on Laravel, Laravel Cloud should work really great for it. The only time that we see kind of apps struggle to work with Laravel Cloud are the ones where they started with Laravel and then they went a little rogue on the the way that they wrote PHP around Laravel afterwards. So awesome.
I
Yeah.
will say
Preview
too.
environments. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I will say too that we're working on making like cloud easier to start with too, because that makes me think like for side projects and stuff, we're making it easier to like get started on cloud and like host your first project, especially like side projects. We just rolled out last week the new like free trial for cloud,
Hmm.
which I realized that after I was like, what's new in cloud? That was last week, but we haven't had an office hour since then.
That's right. So yeah, if you go to cloud.laravel.com now, you could sign
Mhm.
up and you can get a free trial right away. No credit card required. $5
Nope.
credit for you. You can give it a whirl and get a real app on there. So check
Hmm.
it out.
And then, and as you've asked, is there a demo or trial for Laravel Cloud?
And Leah didn't even read that before she answered that question. Look at that.
No,
Mind reader.
but yes, we have a, let me see. We have a free tier, a free trial now for Laravel Cloud. Whenever you sign up as a new user on Laravel Cloud, you get a free $5 credit. And if you're thinking to yourself, okay, but like that's $5, it's only going to last like 5 minutes. Like, how am I actually going to be able to host my application with only a $5 credit? Josh on our DevRel team released a great video showcasing how long $5 lasts in Laravel Cloud because it lasts way longer than you would think, especially if you're using hibernation and like enabling different settings on cloud. So let me share that link in chat. And that was just released this week as well, that video. So this video is a really great resource to use whenever you are trying to utilize the free trial on cloud and get kind of as much use out of that $5 credit as you can.
Yeah.
And then there's also documentation that's linked in that video. Let me link that. And what were we going to say, Devin?
I was going to say the thing about that $5 is if you are looking to do a big test on a big app that needs to serve a lot of traffic,
Mhm.
$5 probably not going to get you that far, which is honest. If you are looking to do something like a side project or something, and you can take advantage of hibernation and the
Yeah.
databases that sleep and all of that, then I mean, you could. I think we've seen people run apps for $5 a month that hibernate most of the time for side projects. So it's very
Mhm.
possible to get quite far on discovery with that. So check out that video; it was really good.
And then I also linked the docs because we also have it in the documentation of how far $5 goes and then the different things to enable. It's funny because I was talking to Josh and I was like, "Oh, this app like costs $4 to host this month." And he's like, "Did you have hibernation turned on?" I didn't. And there's
Mm-mm.
like a little disclaimer that's like, "Hey, if you don't have hibernation turned on, if this like server is up the whole time, then the compute will cost like about $5."
Yep.
So read people. I say as someone who wasn't reading, and I was like,
Read.
"This costs $5." We also have a beautiful usage page which that was that like
Yeah.
last week too? So now it's
Yeah.
easier to
It was.
tell. Yeah.
Let me pull that up.
See, after we've been live a little bit, the juices are flowing in my brain. I started
The,
thinking.
the juice is full. This is our test account, so this is not real
Yeah.
money, but real app. So
Mhm.
got a bunch of stuff here. So the new usage page, you just click on usage here, and it'll pop up for you. So you can look at the different periods. Ooh, we backloaded some periods in here too, so that's awesome. So you can kind of see your bandwidth, data
Mhm.
transfer, how much of your accrued allowance. You could set up alerts if you want to know, like, hey, I need to know before we hit $10. You can go ahead and save that, and you could set up the alerts for that. And then here you have your resources built out. So resources are talking about your databases, your caches, your buckets, your WebSockets, the different things that you can use on either a singular application or environment, or you could use it on multiples. And so this kind of gives you the ability to see broken down by those different features, what you have out there, and then gives you the total summarized cost. If you don't really care about the details, you could just look at the top here, but then you have your total resource cost down here. So again, this is not your applications and your compute. This is just all the peripherals that kind of go around that.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh,
No, it's still the same. It's just switching me. The screen's just different than it usually is. Sorry, that was throwing me off.
No
But see,
worries.
I won't change it again.
All right. So then you get down here and you can see kind of your total application spend and then your cost for the application. So if you have multiple environments under an application, you'll see what the total cost is versus what the actual singular cost is. So you can kind of click through your different apps. You can kind of see what's happening through some of these. And then you could see like how many CPU hours were used, how many replicas were
Mhm.
in there, how many hours they were up for, all of that. And then if you have any other add-ons or things, they kind of show up there. So this just gives a way more detailed look. This updates hourly, so you can kind of see it as the month goes on through the current period. So you don't have to go and wait for an invoice to kind of see a detailed accounting of where you're at. So
And this is on the um man, is the environment level, right?
yeah, so you can change. Of course, I use preview environments, so
Mm.
I don't think I have any secondary environments on applications out here. But
I
yeah,
meant
that's
I said it wrong too. I meant organization level. Like if you are
oh
in an actual application, you won't see this. You have to go into organization and
yeah,
then to usage. Yeah,
yep. So
because
you
I
want to
got
click on your
confused by
org,
that.
click in. Yep, that's exactly correct. So this is a org level setting,
Hmm.
nothing at the application level for this because it's. I mean, it is. You just have
Yeah,
to be in the usage dashboard. So yeah, this was new, launched last week. Really great by the team. The other
very
thing that
helpful.
updated is we heard feedback about this used to be 3 levels deep. So you would have your org, your app, your environment. And a lot of
Hmm.
people were like, yeah, but I don't, most of my apps are single environment. So I don't necessarily need that. And so this new chooser here allows you to kind of pick through that. And so as you do that, you'll see I had to keep this one purple because I use blue for all of them. But then I was like, oh, let me make one purple so you can actually see there's a difference because I am a super predictable person. I always use whatever GitHub gives me and I have one environment per app. So yeah.
I'm usually the same way, or at least on my own apps, I'm the same way. It's not like that on
Mhm.
like any of the Laravel sites.
Yeah, another interesting thing is the GitHub integration was set up a little differently now too. So you can actually choose the repository and it links that through there. And you can now connect a GitHub org to multiple GitHub. I'm sorry, a GitHub org to multiple cloud orgs. So
Hmm.
if you've got like your personal projects and your work projects, they
Hmm.
all kind of go off each other. You can connect those to multiple accounts instead of having to have it on just the one now. So that's another big win there. Um, and then, I mean, while I'm in here, let me see if I can find some logs on this. There is now filtering for static dates on the logs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, brand new. So you can pick the time and date. It's just for the last
That's
whatever
so
the retention
nice.
is, which is 7 days. And so now you can really start to hone in on logs and things, and you can choose whether or not to refresh it so it doesn't auto
I love that.
refresh on you, so that you're jumping around. So this was a big update that was made last week as well. So
Hmm.
apparently last week was the week to have updates.
I think Google SSO might have been last week too. It was recentish.
Yep.
So we had Google SSO last week or so, and then GitHub SSO was this week.
Yeah. So now if you log in, you
Now
can
we're
log
cooking.
in with Google or GitHub here and it'll tell you last used. So you could like remember when you get here.
Hmm.
So I'll just take you through that flow now. So I'm going to stop sharing before I open my one password to log back in.
Yeah, smart. And Najib has said, I love how Laravel's docs are super clear and easy to follow. We love hearing that. Laravel's docs
Yes.
are pretty fantastic. It was something I like loved whenever I was getting into Laravel. I loved how clear the docs were because some
Yes.
docs are just like sparse. Some are just way more sparse, and so it's harder to like find out different
I love,
information.
yeah. I love when you look at docs for something and you're like, and I need AI to summarize this for me. Thanks.
Hmm.
Remember when you didn't have that ability like
Yeah.
2 years ago and you had to
And
be
then you're
like,
like,
Google.
what is this thing saying to me? And then you had to like copy different things, and it's like, explain this, please.
Yep. Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah, no, the docs are super clean. I love that too. That's actually just Taylor. Taylor cares
Hmm.
immensely about documentation. So that
Yeah.
just ripples through not only the company but the community too. So
And then Samuel had asked, also, hi Samuel, how are you doing? Ask an insider behind the scenes from your experience when would choose MySQL versus Postgres on Laravel Cloud and vice versa. So when would someone choose MySQL versus Postgres for an application
Yeah,
that doesn't have features specific to either engines?
it's very interesting. You really crippled me with the feature specific to the either engines there, because that's actually where I go most of the time with this question. Um, Laravel MySQL is a great option. It
Mhm.
is available in all regions, and it runs in our Kubernetes cluster, which is a great way to get your latency down. Our Postgres runs through a partner called Neon. They do not share all the same regions that we have. So I think that
Mhm.
there are 3 regions, Canada, Ireland, and UAE, that we have that they don't support currently. So your only option is Laravel MySQL. So if you're in one of those 3 regions, you get MySQL. Unless you're on private cloud. In private cloud, we do have some business class databases through RDS and Plan Scale coming soon that helps us to close that gap for other customers. But those databases are powerhouses comparatively. There's not a cheaper version of them, so that's why they're on private cloud. Also, it deploys them differently. So it helps to get them inside the VPC for latency and for data residency and isolation reasons. So that's that. I'm really spitballing here because I'm thinking through this. How would you pick this one? I'm a Postgres guy personally.
Mhm.
I'm just going to call that one out straight up front. I love Postgres. I've been using it a lot for probably the last 6 years. And I think that it works really well. So I usually reach for Postgres first. Um, if I think about the different apps that I'm working on and things, whenever I'm reaching for Postgres now,
Mhm.
oftentimes I'm using something where I'm trying to do AI tooling through an application for users, for the normies, as we call them. And with that, PG Vector is built in basically native to almost every Postgres database. And so being able to get those embeddings from an LLM and store them in a database natively, Postgres is just a very clear winner there right now. I know MySQL 9, I believe, is building that in. So that will probably close that gap a little bit for MySQL. But if you're not doing stuff AI oriented, you don't care about vectorization and things, I think MySQL does help to be a little more forgiving to database design than Postgres does. So I'd say it really depends on the app specific features, which one you choose. But yeah, that's it's kind of that. If that didn't answer your question, Samuel, feel free to ask a clarifier here, and I'd be happy to dive back into that. But if you ask me, I'm a Postgres guy. So
Also for me, especially for side projects, I normally go with Postgres because we offer hibernation on the Postgres ones currently.
yeah, that's yes. So the
So that
Postgres
helps a
ones through
lot.
Neon hibernate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sleep those, so that does give you that ability. But the total all in monthly cost of running a Postgres monthly versus MySQL monthly on cloud, I think the
Hmm.
lowest MySQL is $5 a month, does not have hibernation. The lowest Postgres is $20 a month, but does have hibernation. So you can get that lower. So
Hmm.
depends on what you're doing and the app.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We have some other questions. I want to real quick say Happy Friday, Dan. How are you doing? He said, I love the new change. Yes, Dan. Dan
Dan,
Johnson.
Dan
I
Johnson
love
from
the new
Shred. Yep.
change. And you love the new change that lets us Command F inside the environment variables box. Thank you.
That one, if you did not see the tweet chain on that one of our private cloud customers, Diagonal, hit us up in Slack and was like, guys, I really wish that I could control F to find this. And Jason Beggs on the team, like not even 4 hours later, was just like, hey, go refresh. It just shipped it. So that was a huge win. That we love getting that feedback. So if you ever see something in cloud and you're like, man, I really wish it could do this, please open a support ticket with a feedback request and send that in. If it's something that a bunch of us have also ran into and we're like, actually, yeah, we should probably just do that. Now that people are asking for it, like we can make those things happen quick.
Where is it?
Whereas what?
I guess like,
I mean, I could demo it if you'd like.
yeah,
No,
demo it.
do I? Hold on. Let me before you share, let me
I
go make
won't
sure
share
there's
it
not
yet.
like secrets.
I won't share.
That's the problem is there's like secrets in there. I got to make them up. All right, this one's fine. I could share this one. Let me pull this
Actually,
up.
your screen's been live the whole time. I'm just kidding. Yes.
Wouldn't surprise me.
You would never show up on Office Hours good. You'd be like, Leah, please. Okay, there we go.
So right there, just Command F, and then you could search for what you're looking for.
Oh my gosh,
So
it's
it's
so
right in.
nice.
Yep. And with some additional features for regex and case sensitive and things there. So that one helps a ton.
That is so nice. I know Josh was showing me yesterday, I think yesterday, that you can, I think, Command K when you're trying to, I think it's for whenever you're going to add a new application, you could Command, where is it? It was somewhere. He was saying you could Command K or something, and I did not know that. Or
Oh,
Command something.
you mean the command palette?
Maybe.
Pulling it
Maybe.
back up. Yeah. So if you're on cloud, you can Command K and you have the command palette available to you.
I think that's it. Yeah. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So you can jump around to different things here. Yeah, that's another huge benefit if you don't see that. Now, if you didn't see that one, just for what it's worth, it tells you right there.
Again, reading. Reading's hard. Reading's hard. I'm from Florida, okay? They don't teach us how to read correctly.
That's
Other people
because
from
you
Florida
left
are gonna be
public
like, what?
education
That's
for
a
writing
joke.
code.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah.
And then Chris Harding had said earlier, I'm running Tailscale on Cloud with a few tricks so it can connect to a typesense server for Scout. Is there likely to be a more official way to do this in the future? Hope you don't mind. Thanks. Yeah, we don't mind that question at all.
No. I also, Florian hit this in the chat, but yes, please reach out to me about that, and I will get you connected with Florian. You could probably guess my email. It's my name at laravel.com. I would love to know how you're doing that so that we can look into what's going on with that, because we use Tailscale for a bunch of stuff. And so this is probably just one of those hacks we haven't tried to hack yet because we haven't had a need, but we'd hear this come up quite a bit. I wouldn't say very often, but like maybe once a month somebody asks me this question. So I think this would be a really good one for us to consider. And I know I can already tell by Florian's answer that he's interested. So awesome.
So,
I want to pop to the one right. Oh, can we go back to the? Yeah.
Which one?
I want to dive into that one. There's one that says, did I hear correctly earlier that seats? Yes, they are no longer a thing. Unlimited seats for everyone. Everyone gets a chair. Go for it. Organizations don't have that. I just wanted to hit that one quick because it was fast. Yeah, so Apache and Nginx. We can jump back to that one from Najib if you want.
1 second. I was going to pin to the LinkedIn user too the tweet from yesterday about the seats. Just
perfect
to show it's official. But yeah, no seat limit on Laravel Cloud. All accounts now have access to unlimited seats, like Devon said. And now we shall jump back to Apache versus Nginx.
Yes, Apache versus Nginx. In my opinion, there is one answer to this question, and that is Nginx. Apache was the web server of the 2000s, and Nginx is the web server of the 2020s, in my opinion. Well, 2020s and beyond. They're both good. They both do their thing. Nginx has a lot more niceties built in for modern developers that I think. You also have the ability for applications that are not very specific to one stack. You have like Nginx Unit available where you can kind of run workloads directly off that. So I just think Nginx is putting in more work than Apache is on the servers, and so I would choose Nginx. If you look across the Laravel docs for deploying to production, we provide documentation for how to set up Nginx or a recommendation on where to start. And what we use on Laravel Cloud and Laravel Forge is Nginx. So,
question. Here's a. I guess maybe you'll be able to answer this one. If Cloudflare locks you out of your own IPs for 3 hours, what stops AWS or GitHub from doing the same to another layer tomorrow?
I mean, valid question, somewhat. It's a little bit different than Cloudflare locked us out of our own IPs for 3 hours. Cloudflare, unfortunately, created a bug by using whatever method that they did, and that started deleting records from a database. Essentially, I won't say it's an actual database because I don't know how Cloudflare was set up, but they basically caused an issue for about a quarter of their customers that use a very specific service called BYOIP, or Bring Your Own IP. There was a way for about half of that quarter that was set up to reinstate their IPs themselves through the app, because they were still like in the data set. They just weren't published correctly. And I'm using the wrong word there. I always forget it. Florian, if you can tell me the right one. I think it's advertise is the right word. So there was no way for us to self-remediate that during that outage, because we unluckily were the short straw of the users that were most recently affected from their outage. And it took them a while to get back to restoration on that. So from that perspective, 100%, yeah, that sucked, to put it plainly.
Not a fun time.
Out of that, what we've started to look through is how do we have redundancy in the system for when that happens, and how do we plug and play those in different areas and make sure that there isn't a single point of failure in the hot path. And so that's something the team is working aggressively to patch. AWS and GitHub, I mean, is it possible that they also go down? I mean, let's be real. GitHub has, 1.9's reliability right now. Happens a lot. So there's ways around that. You can get through that. They're not necessarily in the hot path like some of the other ones would be here. BGP advertisement or BGP announcement is what announcement advertisement. Okay, I've been using the right words. I just always feel like icky when I say that, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the right word. So yeah. So fair. I think AWS is probably better than GitHub. AWS doesn't have a reason to really lock anyone out or mess something up like that. Now, if there is an outage that is affected, I mean, right now our entire ME Central 1 region is down because of the issues, the conflict in the region. The AWS data center in the UAE is destroyed. And so we have a region that we can't deploy on right now. And so that's a real concern, but those things happen, and we're trying to respond in what's best for our customers on those situations. And redundancy and single point of failure is just not something we want to stay in the business of. And so we're working aggressively for that. So I appreciate the question and keep asking it. Accountability is important on these, but I think that the Cloudflare issue was very unique. And it was very unfortunate that we were in the small portion of companies that did that. The other thing I'll highlight on that is Laravel Cloud's operational plane was down. Most customer workloads were still reachable underneath, and there was no data loss attributed to it. So if the application was reachable, you were still able to continue to use your app and things. Deployments were stopped because you couldn't reach our control plane, but it did not affect as many of our customer workloads as it did our own application. And so I think that's another big thing to point out there. So yeah, more to come on that. We're definitely committed to making that a better process and getting that working.
And Rehan had a question. How can I make Laravel handle, I'm guessing that's supposed to be DDoS attack?
DDoS,
or DDoS. Yeah, DDoS attack or huge traffic. Like, how would you say the end?
Yee. That's an old. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna have to call on some of the OGs in the chat, like Dave or Florian. That's an old PHP framework key. I mean, Laravel Cloud handles quite some load. Florian and I did a pressure test for a customer's application back in February that we're working on publishing some more stats on. I was able to sustain 17,000 requests per second with a jittered back off for the response times for over an hour twice. So it's definitely, you could handle a ton of load and a DDoS. I mean, in fact, Cloudflare flagged it as a DDoS attack, and we had to put in a whitelist to let it bypass because it looked like DDoS, and so was getting caught. So you can make you can make Laravel applications run huge traffic, and we have quite a few customers that run some interesting workloads that handle 1,500, 2,000 requests per second on private cloud, no problem. Don't even sweat.
Florian said Laravel's probably as old.
Yeah, no, I know that, but Yee hasn't had an update in a while, I don't think. And is it PHP? Like, that's the part I was confused about. I never even heard of Yee until I started working at Laravel, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, I got this Yee thing I'm rewriting," and I was like, "Hold on, hold the phone. What?"
I feel really bad. Someone said, I think the same person typed ye in chat earlier, and I thought it was a typo. I had no clue what they meant, so I didn't read it, and now I'm realizing it's a framework. So I'm so sorry. That is my bad. I did not
Yeah,
know what it was.
Ye PHP. That's an interesting one.
I
It
see it
probably did get
now.
an update. I'm probably being a little ridiculous, but yeah,
The website's a little
yeah,
old.
yeah. But Laravel can definitely handle it. The framework can handle it. Laravel Cloud can definitely handle it. It oftentimes a sneak preview on some of the stuff that Florian and I have been working on. It's
Mhm.
usually your database, your schema design, and your interactions with that, and not using caching and not using some of the other niceties that are built in that cause you to have bottlenecks. It's usually not PHP.
Also, boots on the ground journalism here. While we've been live, this is a little sidetrack from what we were just talking about. But while we were live, a new Inertia v3 beta was released. Pascal tweeted about it. It adds support for Vite 8 and simplifies the layout props feature. So the use layout props hook has been removed, and layout props are now passed to the layout component as regular props. So please upgrade and then share your feedback on that, the new beta with us, with the
Yes.
team. I linked Pascal's tweet here. Let me link that GitHub repository for Inertia, specifically Inertia v3 as well. Inertia JS. Because if you notice any issues with Inertia, especially specifically Inertia v3, you can open up issues on that GitHub repository or open up PRs there. Let me share this. This is for the specific 3.x branch. So there is
Nice.
that link in chat there.
There is a question in our Slido too, by the way.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So the question in Slido is, hey, any chance you can add the option to purchase additional custom domains? Currently, the only option to get more than 3 is to upgrade to business. Thanks. That's
I
a good
thought
question.
I thought growth was 5. Let me not
Can
that
you check?
that's what you're asking, but I believe you can do up to 5 on growth. Um, but yes, there is a way. If you are in cloud, let me share my screen. I will show you how to do this. All right. If you are in cloud and you need more domains and you're on the growth plan, you can go here.
Mm-hmm.
You can click this help button. You could ask a question and you could
Mm-hmm.
say, I need more domains. Put how many you need, 100, 10, 5, however many extra domains you need, and we could set that
Mm-hmm.
up. If my memory serves me correctly, they are 50 cents per domain per month to add extra domains over the top. So you can add as many as you'd like there. If you have a lot that you want, like talking hundreds, thousands, then our
Mm-hmm.
support team can get you in touch with our sales organization who may be able to do some bulk discounting on that. So
Do you
for
know if we
sure.
have any documentation of that? Of
Do
like
I
how?
know if we have any documentation? I don't, but I will go check.
Okay. Because if not, that'd be nice to add, I think, to
Yes,
know how
I
to add
would
additional.
agree with that.
Well, that was a really good question. Thank you so much for whoever asked that question.
Yeah.
And then Chris said, loving Inertia V3 so far. I love to hear that. Every time I see the demos of it, I get really excited. I still have not upgraded my project yet. I mean, I'm in Florida, so a little hard to work on side projects right now when visiting with family and stuff. But I do plan on upgrading all my side projects to Laravel 13 and Inertia V3. And I'm
You
going to
haven't
use
done all of
the
them yet?
boost. No, I haven't done
You
all of
should,
them yet.
come on. How dare you?
I know. I know I'm
Uh,
slacking. How dare I?
I DM'd you a thing to throw in the chat. There is indeed a
Thank
limitation
you.
section in the domains docs that says if you have a special use case for many domains, contact us to raise your limits. So I think that sends you to our contact form. But yeah. Nope. Send you to our support.
It's
Yep.
just
So
being
exactly that.
domains. Do you know which one where it says what you said on it?
What do you mean?
So I'm linking this, or I guess, hold on. Let me open it
Yeah,
here.
that also shows the limits. The 1 for starter,
I
5
see
for growth.
exactly what you're talking about now. For some reason I opened it in a different tab and it took me slightly further down the page. But if you
Interesting.
go to cloud.laravel.com/docs/domains pound or Octothorpe hashtag, whatever you want to call that, limitations, it will take you to the specific section Devon was talking about in our documentation, talking about domain limitations, which says, like Devon said, if you have a special use case for attaching many domains, to contact support to raise your limits. We love documentation.
Love it. Love it. And the search feature at the top of our docs is pretty good too. You could search domains and things. Yeah.
And I did read the command K there. For some
Yes.
reason in Cloud, I did not.
RTFD, right? Read the docs. We'll
Yeah.
let you fill in the blank on the F for yourself.
We do have a hard stop at exactly an hour today, so we'll be ending the office hours at exactly 12 p.m. Eastern time, which is, it should be, what, 4? 4, yeah, it will be 4 p.m. UTC, or if I was normal Leah in Colorado, it would be, what, 10 a.m.? 10 a.m. for me. But basically, we'll be ending office hours in 4 minutes. So if anyone has questions, last minute questions, feel free to throw them into chat. But we'll go ahead and kind of start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So
There's one
hopefully
more
this,
question that came in, if you don't mind.
where?
DXenter.
Oh,
Just tuned
yeah,
in. Yeah. Yeah.
just saw that. Okay. Might need to rewind, but has there been any updates on the queue visibility functionality that we discussed in the past?
There has been some updates internally on this that are going very well. We've gotten some real headway made on that, but we did not talk about it yet on Cloud Office Hours because it is not ready for prime time for users yet. But we have been working a ton on this in the background. This is definitely something that comes up a lot, and so something we're working on. So stay tuned. When it drops, we will make sure you hear about it here. Maybe not here first, but here for sure.
Yeah. It'd be fun if it was first, but
it would be, but I don't think we're faster than some of those Twitter fingers are.
I don't think so either. As
and
soon as things are
this
shipped,
feature,
like someone's posting it.
yeah, I could tell you for this feature too, Taylor is probably going to be the first person out the
Yeah.
foxhole screaming about it because he has a vested interest in this one. So,
but yeah,
awesome,
should be good. And like Florian had said, because I think this is about what Chris responded to Florian.
yeah,
it's totally fine to do stuff different ways. We're just interested in seeing how users are using the platform to see how we can make users' lives easier, things we could possibly like implement or use for cloud, like to make it easier to integrate that with cloud. Just
yeah, for
stuff
sure.
like that.
Thanks for sharing those details, Chris. I really appreciate that. I am going to try and replicate that myself later.
So if anything, for science, it's really helpful.
For science. Awesome.
But yeah, if anyone has any more questions, we're wrapping up here now, but feel free to throw them in the Slido, which should still be open, and I'll copy those over to our Slido for the next office hours, which is not next Friday, but the following one. I think it's April 3rd, possibly, which sounds fake because I feel like March just started, but I think it's April 3rd will be our next Laravel Cloud Office Hours with me and Devon. They'll be the same time. It's every other Friday that we have these.
I hate the fact that you just called it out, but you're right. It's like March 3rd today. How's it April 3rd in 2 weeks? This is ridiculous.
I know. I was looking at that. I was like, April 3rd, there's no way. And it's like, my God, it's the 20th. Like we were just in Amsterdam. I was just turned March.
Speaking of, if you are in Atlanta or the Georgia area next Thursday, we have a meetup. You should come check it out. And a bunch of the team will be down there. It's our first Laravel Road show. So come on and check us out. I will be there. Come say hi. And I will make sure that we get a link real quick over to Leah.
I have it. Yeah. I was Googling it. Yeah.
So if you haven't, go ahead, sign up. We'd love to have you. Come hang out with the team. We have Joe Tannenbaum doing a talk. We have Braden doing a talk from Omega Software. Matt Stauffer from Titan doing a talk. So it'll be a great time, good vibes. And, I'll be there. So
Mhm.
If the other three names don't get you there, I mean, I'm pretty cool, I think, sometimes.
I'm sure there'll be some merch. Probably
Yeah.
Devon has a whole bag of stickers. So there'll be stickers for you. There'll be hats. I'm guessing because he pointed at it. If not, blame Devon, not
Oh,
me.
there'll be
Okay.
hats.
Okay.
Yeah, I got all the stickers. Come find me to get stickers.
Yeah. So definitely RSVP register to be there. And then I'm doing a stream with Josh next Wednesday as well, talking about his Instruct package he built and how he used Laravel AI SDK and different things to build that. So yeah, hope to see you next week in a stream. If not, see you at next Cloud Office Hours. And thank you all for being here. Thank you, Florian. Hope you all have a good Friday and bye.